Question comes from Michael C. of this parish. Why did the episode 222 proposals require 2 Transpennine crossings, one from Sheffield and one from Leeds across to Manchester? So let's answer that with maps, shall we? Let me get up the network. Let me click here and, well, here we go. So here is the episode 222 network. And rightly, Michael C. is going, oh, why is Sheffield connected across to Manchester? This is the raw alignment, by the way. This isn't the, if I go to final views, there's the, if I go high-speed network, centerline, post-existing, yeah, that's the my selected routes is what you have here. So you've got the big old mess in Manchester, a little simpler in Sheffield, because it can be, but yeah, Manchester's got all sorts, and at the moment, we're going through Meadowhall, right? So we are going through Meadowhall. So there's a couple of things that Michael C. asks actually relate to the question, which is, firstly, why do you have to have 2 routes? Well, simple answer to that, really, Michael C., which is geography. If you were going to have 1 route and you'd have to choose between either the northern corridor, as we have here, up in this direction, whether you ignore Bradford or not, or the southern route here because of geography, because there is an enormous amount of hill either side, and the ability to get through, the ability to utilize the topography to get through the hill and not just have an enormous, unrealistic tunnel, gives you only those 2 options, basically, if you want an alignment that's following to a greater or lesser extent the existing corridor. So you need to kind of follow that route. It's particularly if you are in relation to, so there's quite a bit that, there are various things that I probably refine and think about now again. I'm always revisiting these alignments and playing with them, to be honest. That's just always a fun thing to do, because it's just me. It's not like a team of high-paid consultants. It's just me. Now paid nothing as a consultant to look at this stuff. Well, that's not entirely true. But basically, geography, and neither of them suits both purposes. I suppose you could say that the Woodhead alignment could give you what you need, but then from my perspective, I think it's really important that when you provide this new fast route, you've got to think about what it is, which it's not a pure, at this point, it is hybridized. It's not a pure high-speed route in that it is going to serve northern Manchester, Rochdale, and it's going to serve Bradford as 2 major outcroppings of the metropolis. These are quite distributed cities, and so it makes sense to kind of have 2 core hubs rather than just a single core hub. So that's why I'm very keen to service Rochdale and Bradford with that connecting line. I think that's really important. Likewise, why I have the Parkway station next to the junction of the motorways, next to Mickey Blades over here. This is Mickey Blades. Everyone say hi to Mickey Blades. Literally, that wind turbine is called Mickey Blades. That you have these sort of ancillary hubs, if you like, these kind of distributed hub and spoke models. So that's the logic. That's how I'd be doing that. And yeah, Transport for the North considered a couple of options. What did I choose as my option again, coming into Leeds? Let's have a look. I think I chose... I'm probably going to shift this now because I want to do the Williams, Weston and Williamson proposal to have the alignment here and then scoop round. But in any case, I think having the alignment parallel there and then coming through is the way I do that. So that's why. It does mean you get a lot of additional infrastructure complexity in Manchester, but I'm not saying you build all this at once. I think you stage it. The other question, though, is an interesting one, in relation to the alignment through, if we consider our S-band network. So do I have this? Let's go South Yorkshire and get our networks up for our, where is it? Down, I don't know. Did I do it? Any of that? Stations. Where's me? Oh yeah, there it is. That's fine. Good. So let me get rid of the stations and just have our center lines. So let's just go like this. Come on, computer. So yeah, you can see our. Oh, it's not happy. Everyone, sorry if the streaming data is being grumpy. My computer is throwing a wobbly. Possibly because I've also got the episode being edited inside. So there's the. And you can see that our hub is actually down at what I'm calling Cutler's Gate down here. Could you put a high-speed alignment in? Could you squeeze a high-speed alignment in here and actually put the high-speed line through Cutler's Gate as the hub, rather than at Meadowhall, rather than having kind of a two-spoke? Well, the reason I've got it at Meadowhall, and I like it at Meadowhall, is because it's serving Rotherham and Doncaster more closely. I still think that's the right thing to do. I still think the right thing to do is to have that hub here. And actually, the other thing is it's very tricky to squeeze the high-speed alignment into the squeezed-up mess on the Sheffield side. I think if you combine the S-Bahn network, if you like, and the two, essentially having two hubs here, my view is that works. It'd be interesting for me to have a play and see if you can have it comes up through Cutler's Gate and across, but I suspect that would be difficult. The idea of if you're not serving Rochdale, you're not serving Bradford, then I think you can legitimately say, well, then just a single Transpennine route, and that saves a lot of complexity in Manchester, actually. Does that mean that actually the priority should be on that route? I think possibly yes is the answer. Could you put a temporary connection in so that you're doing a lot of the work on there before you do the route of the Pennines? Possibly, again. I think that's an option.